We are the BP Leaders for Life group that's worked on the Surf to Secondary Schools project.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie from Uriwai Beach.
My name is Georgia and I'm from Waihi Beach.
Kia ora, I'm DJ from Titahi Bay.
And I'm Timothy from the Deep South Already Surf Life Saving Club in Invercargill. And we have a huge passion for reducing the drowning toll, and we believe that the best way we can do this is to introduce education to secondary high school. So we're going to show you what we've done in order to achieve this goal.
Currently in New Zealand, the #1 recreational death is drowning. So if you have a look at these stats, you can see that 15 to 24-year-olds have this highest rate of drowning. So in 2017 there was 16 deaths at a beach per year, and then from 2012 to 2016 there was an average of 16 deaths. Over the 5-year period, 15 to 24-year-olds have the highest average, whilst the others all a little bit lower. Looking back at the 5 to 14-year-olds, the average is very low, and we due to think because of they're still going to the beach with their parents, and there's a beach education program already in system for the primary schools. So we believe that if we put the unit plan into the colleges, we can help reduce the deaths in the ages of 15 to 24 and bring the rate down through the years.
So in 2015, the Leaders for Life group identified that there was a real lack of knowledge about beach education and water safety in high schools. So what they did was they created a survey which they sent out, 2 different surveys which they sent out to high schoolers and high school teachers, and from that survey they received 55 and 97 responses respectively. From those surveys they found out that there was not only a need but also a real want for a beach education program for high schools.
Cool, so we went away and we have designed a health and physical education unit plan. We have selected this at level 5 of the New Zealand curriculum, as we want to target the 13 to 15-year-old age bracket, so that's year 9 and 10. We also found out that was probably the easiest year group to get this program into schools, as they've not yet hit NCEA. We've created 6 compulsory lessons with 2 optional lessons, and they're all of 50 minutes. The aim of the unit is to develop these students' basic surf awareness and skills, so that when they go to the beach, when they go to these coastal environments, they're aware of how to keep themselves safe. And this is all in hopes of decreasing that future drowning toll.
So in order to continue on from the 2015 group, what we needed to do was identify what barriers they faced and figure out what we could do to overcome them. So what we figured out was that their main problems were a lack of money and funding and not having access to water. So initially we came up with the idea of creating a beach education roadshow where lifeguards would go into schools and present the content in front of an assembly. But then after seeking advice from secondary school teachers, we figured out that the best way to get our message across was with repetition over a series of structured lessons. So we created the 6 lesson plans, and those are going to be able to be taught by teachers, because we also figured out that the schools might not want to have to pay for a lifeguard to come in and do the teaching. So we created plans that are able to be guided by teachers and then are also supplemented with heaps of online resources.
Yep, so the unit plan itself has been cited and feedback has been given by these people. They're all either members of Surf Life Saving New Zealand or are involved in the education sector within New Zealand. The unit plan I have copies of, which I'll hand out at the end, that you're more than welcome to have a look at. Covers all key competencies from the New Zealand curriculum. It covers 5 achievement objectives from the health and physical education level 5. So that's all included. This is what it's currently looking like with all the activities and ideas. It's on a Google Doc, which would be able to be formatted and sent out to the teachers. So if we break that down, lesson 1, they learn about surf safety, covering achievement objectives A3 and B2. So they're going to learn 10 surf safety rules, and they're going to identify and work out the importance of those rules. The other things they will be covering is the surf environment. They'll learn about communication. There's the optional first aid course lesson, so they would get an external organisation in, which they already do within schools, to get NCEA level credits, so there's also that opportunity. We then go into an overview of what surf lifeguarding is. So when we go into those lessons, that's also a recruitment lesson, as you know, they see how cool it is and they'll want to join. Lastly is the practical, which is the option of maybe a pool session at their school, go to the beach, or get in a beach education instructor. But that's completely optional and would be up to the school. So we'd have to supply the schools with videos, cheat sheets and pre-made slideshows. This would be the initial cost. So we'd almost look at getting a sponsorship, so it could be called, they could have naming rights, and we would create this document. We had a look into it, and there's already the TSB RIP Survival campaign, which has stories told by members of the public about their experiences in RIPs. So even playing videos like that is going to bring real life stories of the dangers of RIPs into the classroom. We also thought about the adventures of Anna and Nate. So this is what I did at my surf club, and so we're going to show you a small snippet, but we think this is a really creative way using lifeguards to film and show some of the surf safety rules. The rips are as dangerous as ever. If you got stuck in a rip, would you know what to do? This is Nate. He's a confident swimmer. He swims around the rip. This is Anna. She thinks she's stronger than the rip. She's not. Watch Anna come to her senses. She addresses the 3 R's. She relaxes, she rides the rip, and raises her hand to signal for assistance. Nobody is stronger than a rip. A big thank you to the Waihi Beach Surf Club for funding this video.
Right, so 3 major points that we needed to cover when we're doing this project is, what is it that schools need in order for them to take on board our project? Feedback from teachers suggested we have a shorter course. So we've got 6 plans with the optional ones as well, so they can perhaps fix that into their more flexible end of year schedule. The other one was we went to the Ministry of Education and talked to a senior education advisor there, and she said as long as our unit plan lines up with the curriculum documents, schools will be allowed and happy to accept that. So that's exactly what we've done. We're pitched at level 5 of the health and physical education curriculum. So that ticks off that box. So the second thing we need is, why would schools want to take our program? Why is it better than what they're doing? Now, schools currently, on a completely ad hoc basis, because every school is in charge of its own program, some of them do run learn to swim programs, and some of them run sports such as water polo, or they will have some aquatic events on their school camps like river floats or kayaking, something like that. But what none of those programs have is a comprehensive package that teaches awareness of safety in around open water, and that's what we have, that's what we can deliver to these guys. Another question schools will ask is, how much do they have to pay in order for this project? Our vision is that this project is free, the resources are online, and to reinforce what Mackenzie said before in Georgia, our resources are available free, they're online, the videos are there, stored on the Surf Life Saving New Zealand website, available for them to download. Any costs might be they want an instructor to come in to their secondary schools and run a practical program. That would be the cost that they would have to deal with. Okay.
To summarise everything, what we would like to do as a group and as a team, we'd want to see this through to the end. So what we need to do now is we need to get our unit plan to the education manager of Surf Life Saving New Zealand, and then after that get it trialled in schools.
Cool. So if you guys have any feedback or questions for it, we'd love to hear it, and I will come around and hand out a unit plan for those of you who'd like to have a look.
You're still standing up there. I'm going to be first to gaze again. Have you spoken to Sport New Zealand?
No.
Nope, we have not spoken to Sport New Zealand.
Yeah.
And regarding,
Well, regarding promotion of that.
so what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure our unit plan was finished and set before we went out and started asking for anyone, and we've sort of just finished that.
We almost want to get it checked off by Surf New Zealand first, that they approve of this, because we don't want to go out there asking for funding without their tick off. So that would be our next step, is going to the education manager and seeing what they think.
No, really good presentation.
Thank you. Paul?
So there's some interesting statistics at the start, and you mentioned two things which might have caused that real increase from 5 to 14-year-olds and 14-year-olds up, being the surf safety programs like Junior Surf Ready There and City to School and whatever, those sort of things, and then the fact that kids go to the beach with their parents. Why is that, if it's learning at that age, why is it not working once the kids grow up a bit more?
Yeah, so we think it's all about retention, and feedback we got from secondary school teachers was the way the kids are going to retain it is repetition, and so that's why we've got the 6 lessons that do overlap, and so it will reinforce the learning. We also think you touched on the age group with their parents. We think that then they fall into a bracket of peer pressure, so there is, if you look in there, there is a section about knowing your own limits and how they can deal with peer pressure when they go to the beach. Yeah.
I haven't read through the unit. Good presentation, by the way. My question sort of leads on from that. How much thinking did you do about the causal effects or the reasons people are drowning there? Question being, did you pitch your lessons at the things most likely to make a difference, or the things that are most likely to fit into the curriculum?
We pitched it at what the feedback was from, we had an initial phone call with members of, they were all the education managers from each region, and that was the feedback from them on what they thought, and then that was reinforced when we sent it out to secondary school teachers that they agreed. Also, this is Mackenzie's section, when they did the initial feedback in 2015 and 16, their survey results helped us.
Yeah, so their survey basically said from the students, about 70% of them didn't know what to do if they got stuck in a rip. So we thought that was extremely significant, that, yeah, they need, that is the number one thing that they need to be knowing.
So of that proportion of the population who are drowning recreationally, I understand a lot of that's represented by accidental immersion, so people that were never planning to be in the water in the first place. Where was my question though? So how are they, I know right, started and I lost it. How is this program therefore going to be better, and I know I was picking up on a point Tim made, than the learn to swim? If you're accidentally finding yourself immersed and you know how to swim, do we need to give them any more than that?
Yep. Coastal environment, which they'll cover in lesson 2, the surf environment. Surf environment is completely different than swimming in a pool, and most of us will know that. So they may think, sweet, I can swim 50 metres in a pool, and they walk out 50 metres, no longer can touch the bottom, there's waves. They might not be aware of that. Currents, strong rips. So Yep, as a group, we believe that, it's definitely important that specific coastal environment education is given.
We believe this is an important, critical moment in their development, that they develop a mindset of safety and awareness around the water, because they're going through adolescence and they're risk-taking, going to be taking more risks. And clearly, the stats show that it's not following through from the primary school through that development point into the next age group. And so we really want to address that.
So like this is following on kind of from what Brad's been talking about. In terms of like the coastal safety side of things, Surf Lifesaving New Zealand's now moving past just our patrolled areas and deciding that we are the coastal safety organisation. Is there a partnership that we can see with someone else who may already be looking at this research and would want to implement it as well? Nick Mulcahy, as you know, DJ, is one of the key enforcers of that. But did you get this? Obviously, all of this is from Water Safety New Zealand. Can we work alongside, the drowning prevention team?
So Mike Kearney's just taken up the role of education here, and he's just been with some meetings with Water Safety New Zealand and Skills Active as well. And he's very passionate that we are part of that bigger wet sector, as it was referred to at the Chairs meeting earlier. So yeah, there's a scope for integrating in the future.
Down the back.
Yes. Just to make a point, what Jackson is talking about is already happening.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah. I think it's all new.
Yes.
From a community manager's point of view.
Yeah.
My question is, other than that, great presentation. I really enjoyed this one. But do we fear that you've got too many lessons, considering that the average person from 13 to 18's attention span is as long as a Snapchat?
So, too many lessons, or the lessons are too drawn out?
Well, no, like you've taken a beach egg day,
Yeah.
right? And you've kind of made it into this thing where we can split it across 8 lessons, which essentially could be 8 weeks of a term.
Yeah.
Right? Do we fear that that's too many lessons to be dragging that out into? Like, I fear the content for each lesson, even though it may be less than an hour,
Yeah.
might be too drawn out. That makes sense. Like on an average beach egg day, you're going to cover this in 4 hours, most of this stuff. Do we fear that, as I said, the average attention span of this age group is shorter, that over 8 weeks, I probably wouldn't be able to turn up for 8 weeks of school consistently for that.
So it would depend how the teacher put it into their own timetable. It wouldn't necessarily be 8 weeks. It could only be in 2 weeks, because if they've got one block, that would be one lesson. They may choose to do 2 lessons over 2 blocks, so that'd be 1 day. So it could be done in a week. It could be one quick focus, and it would also depend what AO the teacher wants to cover. So not usually at secondary school level, the PE teacher has to cover set curriculum AOs, like achievement objectives, so they would align it with which ones they're ticking off. So yeah.
And we would hope they would do it as a block, not just one lesson every week. I mean, they have the free choice to choose how they take it, and that's the beauty of this. We would hope they do it in a block, because Chris Button at the University of Otago has just shown that block type of teaching is more effective in terms of retention overall.
I think that is a really good point though, and it would be something that we would look into once we actually are going into the trials and coming up with the content, whether we actually did have enough content to last 50 minutes. Maybe some lessons would be 50 minutes, some lessons you could do 2 of the lesson plans in 1 hour. But for now we just have the foundations of what key things we want to get across, and then that will come later.
Cool. I think you guys are doing a great job.
I'm Jo, I work in the National Office as well. Having seen a lot of the beachhead struggles that happen particularly at the end of term 1, and trying to get people out there teaching beach education, because people have gone back to varsity, etc. Have you given any thought to your teaching college pupils? Yeah, third and fourth form, I'll go back to the old days. One, it's the level of, the age group of the people that are teaching beachhead currently are usually varsity students, so how much respect do some of those younger people get from college age children, but also having the ability to service any schools that would like to have beach education when most people have gone back to varsity. So who is going to do that the lessons 7 and 8 in the pool or at the beach, who's going to do those lessons? I
Yep.
guess, is
So
the key thing.
we discussed it, and in order, if that is going to be a part of the program, having a higher age of a surf lifeguard, they would need to be trained specifically for it.
Yeah.
So, but we're thinking that it would actually have to be a permanent position. It would have to be a job. It would be for someone like myself who's studying teaching, who then can maybe pick it up as a job.
DJ's pretty keen as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think when you started off, it was mentioned that you had been doing this down the Deep South. Was that right? Did I pick that up right?
Oh, I haven't done it in schools in the Deep South. I mean, part of getting into BB Leaders for Life, I've been doing a little bit of community education, but this is a next step, and we think a very important step in the process. John.
So you're saying here that this is for some NCA groups for first aiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you considered making the entire course with NCA groups?
To be able to do that, we'd have to go through NZQA, and it is quite a difficult process. It would also cost probably a bit of money because it would take a lot of time, it would take a lot of resources. So it could be a potential, but we're a charity and we want to get that message out there as soon as possible. So initially starting off without the NCA credits, I think that's fine. Year 9 and 10s don't actually earn NCA credits.
I think we'll need to school and stuff and all this. I think if you guys did introduce unit credits for it, that'd be fantastic motivation for the teachers as well as the students actually.
Yeah.
How could the lifeguard award then be tagged on as part of education? Because obviously this is almost like a pre-lifeguard award. Some of the content and the basic understanding could be seen as like a pre-lifeguard award training. Have you considered how that could link up to the actual surf lifeguard award?
Yeah, do you want to go, Tim?
Well, it's aligned with the Surf Lifeguard. It's like the Rookie Award, right? It's not the actual lifeguard award, but it gives people a feel, an indication for what comes on. If they want to make the transition across, they can. So in terms of that, that's where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, like for example, within the school environment, you go and do this as like a pre-lifeguard award, and then in year 11, they say, okay, now you've done your pre-lifeguard award, you've done the basic stuff. Have you thought about it? Is the idea right now making it as like an advance?
I'd say like the idea is like it's to get the surf safety out there. Like we're not trying to, recruit people. Like we're trying to reduce the drowning rates. And if they really enjoy it and they can move into surf, like that'd be awesome. But we're not trying to go out and say, oh hey, join Surf Life Saving because we're awesome and we do all this awesome stuff. Like if they want to, some of them might not even go to the beach, but it's the idea that we're putting the knowledge out there to help prevent them drowning, rather than.
But that's a good point because that could be a future thing. But initially it would just be go onto the website, find your nearest surf club, get involved. Yes.
I wonder, up in the Coromandel there are several schools that already run kind of school programs and that follow on to do their lifeguard work. Did you have any communication with them?
No, Coromandel School specifically.
Yeah, like Whangamatā and Hotwood and Whanua-Kiti
Not
areas all run programs.
No, so initially we're going to have to get to this to the Surf Life Saving New Zealand Education Manager. Once it's ticked off, that is the plan, is get it out to those schools that actually really want to take it on board, the ones that are close to the beach, and get it trialled with those people who are so eager to have something like this as well. So